and chief guest of this evening, this program, Dr. D.C. Gupta. He's the Chief Environment Officer of UP Pollution Control Board. Please come on the dais. We are a bit late, but we'll make it up. Good morning to all of you. Let me introduce myself. My name is S.K. Gupta. I am one of the founding partners of Envirotech. And we'll start the program today with the auspicious deep lighting ceremony. And Dr. Bansali will organize this. Kindly light the lamp. आप आ जाओ बंसाली, आप आ जाइए. As is customary in our Indian culture, we welcome the dignitaries and VIPs. And may I request Dr. Pandey from BBDIT to welcome the chief guest, Dr. D.C. Gupta. Kindly present a bouquet to him. May I request Shri Bansali ji to kindly present a bouquet to Professor G.D. Agarwal. A bouquet from a student to a professor. May I request Rakesh Agarwal ji to kindly present a bouquet to Shri R.A. Agarwal ji, Director General of BBDIT. And also one more bouquet to Dr. Parmana on behalf of Envirotech. Friends, we have gathered here for this two-day program, which I call it a training program, but essentially it is more of acquainting oneself with the latest, what is happening in the air quality monitoring field. On one hand, there are laws and regulations which require everyone to comply with them. And on the other hand, we need to know what is available in terms of instrumentation, manpower, monitoring methods, and how do we comply with them. So we have invited a number of experts in this field, and they will be deliberating in their specialized field during this two-day program. Just to give you a small brief of what has been the role of Envirotech, I'll just take 2, 3, 4 minutes. Just to tell you that Envirotech was started in 1981-82 with the implementation of Air Pollution Act in the country. And one of the requirements in that act was that every air polluting industry was required to monitor their emissions and keep them under prescribed limits. That was a basic requirement, and those industries were required to seek a consent from the pollution control boards of every state. Now the difficulty at that time was that act had come, requirement had been laid down for the industries, but there were no instruments and manpower available at that time. India had just started air pollution subject, and awareness about hazards of air pollution, impact it is causing on the air quality, and its detrimental effect on the human health, vegetation, crops, plants was unknown. So Envirotech was born around that time, and it was under the leadership and directions of Professor G.D. Agarwal, who was at that time member secretary of the Central Pollution Control Board, and he virtually motivated me, or I would say pushed me into this business. I was doing some other business at that time, and we started with the India's first stack monitoring system. Since then, we got interested so much in this field that we never looked back and thought of any other business. And since then, it's almost now 28 years, we have been doing that business exclusively in the field of air pollution and air quality monitoring. And when the EP Act came in 1986, which required every industry who were willing to or who were interested in either expanding their capacities or trying to set up a new unit, they were required to carry out a detailed impact assessment study, and based on that impact assessment, it was being evaluated by the Ministry of Environment and Pollution Control Boards, and if they saw that there was no detrimental impact due to that industrial activity, they were given clearance. So that act was called Act to Establish, and every industry was required to seek a consent to establish an industry under that act. It was a kind of an umbrella act which required every industrial unit or every developmental activity to assess its impact on all components of environment, whether it is air, water, soil, noise levels, vegetation, crops, even on structures, forest, wildlife, on everything. This means this required a study of air quality monitoring in various, throughout the components of environment. It required different kind of instrumentation. So we again came up with the development of high volume samplers and wind monitoring systems, and provided that much needed sort of instrumentation needed for that purpose. In 1991-92 period, three major acts came. One was Motor Vehicle Act, which required all motorized vehicles to take a PUC, Pollution Under Control certificates. So we produced a smoke meter to monitor smoke emissions from dieselized vehicles. In 1991, Montreal Protocol was signed by all the countries of the world under UN umbrella, and a requirement came that ozone layer has to be protected. Today we are talking of climate change. At that time, the big issue was that there is a hole in the ozone layer over the environment, and everybody was concerned how to reduce it. So they decided that let's destroy the ozone depleting substances. We were of the opinion that let's not destroy, let's recover and recycle the ozone depleting substances, mainly CFCs. So we produced a CFC recovery and recycling system. It is another matter of fact that since all the world wanted not to recycle, they just wanted to destroy. So that equipment did not got popular, but we still believe that recycling and recovery and recycling was the best option. Occupational exposure became a very big issue. The people who are working in the factories, and they were exposed to fugitive emissions, mining dust. So personal samplers were needed, that whatever exposure is happening to the workers, it should be monitored and it should be controlled. So we developed personal samplers at that time. In 1994, ambient air quality standards were revised, and another important parameter was added in that, that was respirable dust, because it was believed that the entire dust which is generating because of various activities, either of combustion or crushing or mining, the entire dust does not go inside our human body, because our nose, nostrils block the major coarse portion of the dust. Means dust which is more than 100 micron or more than 10 micron does not go inside, and we only inhale less than 10 micron particles. So it was emphasized that why are we measuring, or why are we not measuring the 10 micron particle size? So we had produced in 1991 period itself, because we knew that this requirement is going to come to the country, and because entire world, people practicing health, medicine and health, they were all concerned about the human health. So we produced a respirable dust sampler. And when the standards were revised, we were ready with the respirable dust sampler available in the market. And because of that availability, today after 15 years, we have a lot of data on respirable dust because of those instruments provided by Envirotech. In 1998, petrol was de-leaded and a benzene derivative was added. And this means in the petrol, benzene was being mixed as an anti-knocking compound. And because of the burning, the benzene compounds came into the ambient air. So a need arose that we must monitor these organic vapors and benzene in the ambient air. So we produced a portable organic vapor sampler which used to help to monitor benzene. In 2000, we again saw that international community is talking about fine particulates, more fine than 10 microns, because they felt that the particles which penetrate or go inside our body remain in the upper trachea up to 10 microns, but finer particles go deep into our lungs and settle there, and it's difficult that they will not come out. And they are more injurious to human health and they are causing more serious damages. So we realized that at that time we will have to have an instrument which can measure very fine particulates. We produced a PM2.5 sampler at that time. At that time, US EPA, the world's United Nations Environmental Protection Agency, they standardized a design and circulated all over the world, put it in the public domain, and requested everybody to follow that standard design. So Indian government also adopted that design, and we developed our instrumentation based on that design. And today in 2009, on 18 November 2009, that requirement has become mandatory under this new ambient air quality standards. So we saw to it almost 9-10 years before, and we produced that equipment. And now in the new ambient air quality standards, some new parameters have been added. So there will be need for new instrumentation to monitor those. And I'm sure in times to come, with industrialization, urbanization, and rapid growth in the vehicular population, more and more different kind of parameters would be required to be monitored, because we are already talking about ethanol being added to petrol. This means formaldehydes and other kind of components are going to come into the air, and we may need to monitor all those parameters. So that was on one hand that we took up the leadership to provide the instrumentation. On the other hand, we also felt, as I mentioned in the beginning, that manpower was again another constraint. So we tried to develop manpower. We tried to organize small 2-day, 3-day, 5-day short courses right from 1985. And I'm very happy today standing here because in 1985, Ghaziabad was the first venue where we had organized our first course. And it is after 25 years, we are again in Ghaziabad and organizing our 51st course in Ghaziabad. So this is the significance of our being here today. And we want to inform you that we always look ahead and see that what is going to come out in the future, what is going to be our requirements in the future. We must keep pace with that development. And of course, we all know that there is very little we can do to improve the air quality or protect the air quality. But at least if we monitor our air quality in a reliable and precise manner, at least we would know what we are breathing. So at least this is one of the main purpose of organizing this course, that people who are involved in various activities in their respective organizations, if they know what exactly is in the air, if they know reliably, not just for the sake of compliance, but just to develop their understanding, just to know in reality what is there in the air. So at least our lives will be much more, safer, and we will be able to take protective actions. So that's with that remark, sir. I just close here to tell you about the Envirotech. And now I request Shri R.A. Agarwal ji, Director General of Babu Banarsi Das Institute of Technology, to welcome you formally to his institute and deliver his welcome letters.
Honorable Dr. D.C. Gupta, Chief Environment Officer, Dr. G.D. Agarwal, environmentalist and advisor to Envirotech, Dr. H.K. Parwana, coordinator for this course, Sri S.K. Gupta, Director, EIPL, our distinguished guests, my esteemed colleagues, dear students, ladies and gentlemen. I am happy that the Department of Applied Science of Babu Banarsidass Institute of Technology is organizing a short course on appropriate instruments and techniques for complying with new ambient air quality standards. The course will continue for 2 days, that is 12th February to 13th February, and is being organized in collaboration with Envirotech Center for Research and Development, a unit of Envirotech Instrument Private Limited. I congratulate the organizers for choosing a very pertinent topic for the course and wish them grand success. I am sure the participants will get an opportunity to listen to some of new and innovative ideas from experienced and progressive minds. On this occasion, I extend our heartiest welcome to all of you for being present here. We are privileged with august presence of personality. By showing their presence here, we welcome them. Finally, I welcome the participants who will be attending this course, and I am sure they will amply benefited by this course, and this course will enrich their knowledge. At this moment, I like to just make a comment that this environment, it's a very, very important topic, and there are two environments. One is external environment, on which we will be deliberating for these 2 days, and another is internal environment. Internal environment we normally do not talk about, but I want to just make a point that there is some thinking somewhere, and it is coming up. Even our university has started thinking of the internal environment, and they have started a course of professional ethics in the engineering branches. So I also like that the external environmentalist should also think about the internal environment. I wish all success for this. Thank you.
Thank you, Agarwal Sahab, for your welcome to all the participants. And may I now request Dr. H.K. Parwana. She is the main lady of this course. She is the course coordinator. Dr. Parwana is a former scientific officer of Punjab Pollution Control Board, and with exceptional abilities as a scientist. And she has been a Pollution Control Board officer with a lot of difference. She had a community interest in her mind all the time whenever she was when she was at the in the regulatory board. Now she's out of the board and doing several things for the benefit of the community.
Thank you, Dr. Gupta. Honorable Dr. G.D. Agarwal, Dr. Agarwal from BBTI, Dr. Gupta from UP Board, and Dr. S.K. Gupta. Thank you very much for your introduction. And starting with where Dr. R.A. Agarwal left, the internal and external environment. Definitely it's the internal environment which affects the external environment. And it's the world community has now started realizing this, and you will see that things are being talked about: green consumerism, simple life, not going in for extra, stopping the greed. So this is all related to internal environment, and I'm really thankful to you, Dr. Agarwal, for raising this issue, because it's the entire world is now realizing this.